The Skinner Auto Group in Richfield Springs and Turnbull Insurance Service since 1866 present Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning and happy first Easter to Nathaniel from Nana.
Good morning and welcome to our 8th annual Easter special Mohawk Valley Living. We have searched through our archives and have been digging for some goodies from years gone by. Much like Easter, there were things hidden there that we're pulling out today and hope that you will enjoy. Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. Happy Easter. Not only is today Easter, but it's also the Sunday where we're beginning our second year of filming around Mohawk Valley. And I went into my own personal archives to find something that goes back a few years in my own life. And I mentioned to my director how I had found a picture of me when I was about 8 years old on Easter Sunday, and she wanted to know if I was wearing the same blue shirt that I wear on this show every week, and I had to inform her, Sherry, back in those days there were no color pictures, they were black and white. You have to remember that we're talking about 1949, and in the picture with me is my brother. God, how I loved him. I wish he was here this Easter, but it was a holiday that I think I enjoyed as much as Christmas, because we had to give up things during Lent, and I would give up everything from pretzels to Pepsi to candy, and then of course on Holy Saturday you could go off your fast and just pig out on all these things you've been depriving yourself of for several weeks. But Easter Sunday was that day when your mother saw to it that you were dressed to the nines. You could have been the dirtiest kid on the block up until that day, but boy, when you went to church on Easter morning, you were looking like $1,000. And so that's where my look today comes from. It's trying to copy in a way what I was looking like back in 1949.
East Utica was a bustling neighborhood in the 40s and 50s. When it comes to East Utica memories, we met the man who wrote the book. Mario Cardarelli's book, East Utica Macchiata d'Amore, fondly recalls a different era. We asked him to paint us a picture of East Utica at Easter time.
I remember as a child getting a brand new suit with a hat during Easter time every single year. New shoes, everything was new, because when you went to church, you were dressed properly. The churches were all adorned with a great number of flowers. Every woman had a corsage. Everybody wore a hat then. Everybody's hat was better than the next person's hat, they thought. And that was a big thing, the hats at Easter time, the Easter bonnet. I think there's a song about the Easter bonnet.
All the frills.
Hindu's market at the corner of Mohawk and Bleecker Street sold Easter flowers. The Easter lilies were inside and outside the place in abundance. There were hundreds of them. Across the street, the Florentine pastry shop after church, you'd go in for a cappuccino and maybe a sfogliatelle. And the Easter dinner was lavish. Homemade macaroni, roasted lamb, several desserts. Cassade is a favorite Italian dessert, and I'm sure you've seen the Italian sweetbread with eggs in it. And they were on both ends of the table, and even in the middle of the table sometime. So Easter was, you know, a real special time, and I remember it fondly, and I know a lot of people do. I had a person come to my house just yesterday wanting some of the East Utica books, and she said she had read one from a friend of hers, and she actually cried, thinking of some of those memories back in the 40s and 50s.
With all the frills of party.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail.
Hippity-hoppin', day-dee-day-day. Dum-dum, I am Peter Cottontail, hoppin' down the bunny trail. Hippity-hoppin'.
Oh, we're out of cake.
Poor Daddy. I'll bake you one in my mini-wave oven.
Won't that take long?
Just 10 minutes.
The Betty Crocker Easy Bake Mini Wave Oven bakes with one light bulb not included, one cake at a time in just 10 minutes.
I can see it baking.
It's done.
You can bake and frost a devil's food and a yellow cake.
That's good.
Daddy, we're out of cake again.
The Betty Crocker Easy Bake Mini Wave Oven. It's from Kenner.
You
exciting inventions of a lifetime. Jimmy Jet, the amazing new toy that puts you in the pilot seat. The throttle makes Jimmy Jet slow down or speed up. Jimmy Jet, with the exciting moving picture screen, makes you feel you can fly, fly, fly. Jimmy Jet, sold at food markets only.
Back in 1945, Skinner Auto began as a small dealership on the corner of Routes 20 and 28 in Richfield Springs. Today, Hiram Skinner is proud to have his son Roger at the helm, continuing the tradition of service to the customer and the community. In 1866, James B. Turnbull walked to farms and villages to visit his customers, earning their trust. Today, the fourth generation of Turnbulls continue that dedication, tailoring a life insurance plan to suit your unique needs and priorities. Turn to the company that is out there to earn your trust. Turn to Turnbull. Where can you find fair trade, local, and organic gifts like Dean's Beans coffee, fresh bulk almonds and cashews, and hand-dipped candles and local pottery? Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally. Why do contractors and do-it-yourselfers shop Lincoln Davies? It's the superior grade lumber, the value for the money, the 140 years and 6 generations of customer service. Since 1872, Lincoln Davies has delivered superior lumber, value, and service, and they're not about to change things now. Celebrating 140 years at the same location, just 10 minutes south of New Hartford on Summit Road between Routes 12 and 8. Lincoln Davies, building 'em like they used to. Chester's greenhouses are bursting with color. You'll find great buys on annuals, perennials, and vegetable plants. Don't wait for Mother Nature. You can have spring today with the beautiful colors and fragrances of flowers and plants from Chester's Greenhouses, York Street in Utica. Call Yannick Excavating for all your residential and commercial projects, from new construction and land clearing to septic systems, driveways, basements, ponds, and topsoil. Visit yannickexcavating.com. You'll find treasure around every corner at Cobbler & Company. 12 rooms filled with eclectic gifts for your friends and family, home and garden. Cobbler & Company in historic downtown Sharon Springs. Here we are in Richfield Springs, located at the intersection of Route 28 and historic U.S. Highway 20. The village of Richfield Springs was established in 1861, making this year their sesquicentennial. And since our last visit, the bandstand has been restored and there's a new Richfield Springs Museum.
It was settled first by the Indians who found the springs, and they called it the Stinking Waters. That was the name they introduced as Gowangus. Then later on, they branched out, and settlers came after the Revolutionary War, started to build homes and take property from England. A fellow named John Tunnicliffe bought millions and millions of acres around here, and that was parceled out to the new inhabitants. Of course, the farms were the ideal thing because the ground was so fertile. It was good for growing all kinds of things. And as the Indians came in their summertime for a resort area, so did the residents here find that people were coming to enjoy the waters, taking the waters, as they called it, and stayed for the summer. So it grew and grew, more or less like Topsy grew, and people came. We had 7 trains a day coming into town, and they were met by the carriages from the hotels. We had almost 26 lodging places, most of them large hotels, one of which held as many as 500 people. So it was quite a thriving metropolis in its own time.
Here we go again, turning my clock back. I can remember coming down to Canandaigua Lake. Gosh, this was back in the late 1940s or early 1950s, and skating at the skating rink that was right on the edge of the lake. Nothing compares to it. You'd be skating around to this wonderful music, and there was the lake outside. It was just fantastic.
Did you have pom-poms on yours?
I didn't have pom-poms on my skates, but notice one thing about them. The front wheels would move, so you could kind of steer, I guess, with your toes, and the back as well, yeah. You had to be very, very accomplished, or you'd land on your, you-know-what, quite often, which I did.
The Richfield Springs Historic Association Museum is located at 134 West Main Street in Richfield Springs. It will be open this Saturday from 10 to 2.
There was music in the valley. There was music in the air. There was music all around me. There was music.
We visit the historic Richfield Springs Library on Main Street. It opened 100 years ago in 1911 with money donated by Thomas R. Proctor on land given by Richard Malcolm Montgomery. We meet young library patron Troy. Could we be meeting a future film director?
Out on the rolling hills, stretch out far and wide. The walls are strong and sturdy through the years it's held up well. Oh, if that old house could talk, the stories it would tell.
We enjoy visiting post offices on our travels, and here in Richfield Springs, there is a mural on the wall that goes back to the WPA times, and it's a beautiful, beautiful painting. And you'll notice that there's a barn up there that's an octagonal barn. Something unique about the barn is the fact that the silo is in the middle of the barn, and it's a baker barn named after Norman Baker, who was very well known in the area.
The Baker Octagon Barn is located south of the village on Route 28. It was built in 1882 and is on the National Register of Historic Places. Another historic building in Richfield Springs is the 1840s era carriage barn at Butternut Barn Primitives. When you step inside, the wonderful smell of pine wafts over you. Mother and daughter, Judy and Kelly Stone, have created a magical atmosphere, and many of the handmade items they have designed themselves.
This is an old carriage barn, and we started the business 35 years ago in 1977 at the encouragement of family and friends. I made things, and I taught ceramics at school, and I always just liked to do things, and people kept saying, oh, you should have a shop, you should have a shop, so I did. I think it's just like a warm, comfortable feeling they get, not like chrome and glass.
Well, a lot of the pieces that I make are made from reclaimed wood. I take old wood that I find and I design a piece made from the reclaimed wood. If I don't make it from the reclaimed wood, I take new pine wood and I make it look aged with a style that would be similar to an antique piece. I make bigger cabinet pieces, and I make cutting boards, old looking boxes, I make ornaments, and I make different jars with old looking labels, and I make early looking candle holders.
Nothing sparks the memory like a familiar smell, and the fragrance here for me, oh, it takes me back memory-wise at least 30 years, because we've been coming here for that long. When I came in today, it was just like turning the clock back 30 years, and it's as wonderful a place today as it was back then.
Butternut Barn Primitives is open 10 to 5 daily through December. It is located east of the village of Richfield Springs, just a few yards south of Route 20 on Allen's Lake Road.
Coming to the promised land. Yes, I'm going where the sun shines. Coming to the promised land. It's been a long, long ride, but it's all right. Man, I'm so
In the rolling hills west of the village, we visit Krugerrand Farm, owned by James Andela and his daughter Lisa Miedema. They have a passion for goats and the idea of developing a sustainable farming model, processing goat milk into aged cheese for the artisan cheese market.
This is basically a 4-H project that got out of hand. We started out with 2 little girls and 2 goats, and by the time they went to college we had 25, and now we've got over 70 head on the farm. Lisa and I discussed how we were going to maximize profits from the herd, and after discussing being a purely dairy operation, we decided to go for value-added products. We decided we'd have to make cheese. So we make a Dutch-style cheese. Well, goat cheese is different from cow milk cheese because the milk is different in chemical composition. Goat milk is naturally homogenized, and the acid profile is quite different. So you end up with sharper, drier cheeses in goat milk than you would normally with cow milk. More robust flavors, because in a lot of cases cow milk cheese presents the fat to your tongue much more easily, and that masks the true flavor of the cheese. That's why a lot of cow milk cheeses are actually made from skim milk.
You can find Krugerrand goat's milk cheese at Jewet's Cheese House in Earlville, Green Earth in Oneonta, Adirondack Cheese Company in Barneveld, and served at Ye Old Landmark Tavern in Bouckville.
Traveling round the Mohawk Valley.
The automobile has gone through many changes through the years, but the Turnbull family's commitment to local drivers has not. Researching and selecting the best coverage for you with unparalleled service, claims handling, and settlement. Turn to a local company with 4 generations of knowledge and experience. Turn to Turnbull.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospitals on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment, and you're only available on the weekend. Sure, I have an appointment Sunday with Dr. Karen. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
Taste the homemade difference at Maria's Pasta Shop. Homemade lasagna, manigot, stuffed shells, ravioli, and more. Ready-made dinners, make it home, and party trays at Maria's Pasta Shop, Oneida Street in Utica. When you shop Meelan's Market, you'll be the grill master. That's because every hot dog, beef patty, and sausage is made by Bob Meelan himself. Find everything for your next cookout, from store-made meats to fresh salads and tabbouleh, at Meelan's Market at the Four Corners in Clark Mills. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories for distinctive gifts. For the whimsical. For the bride. For American made. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories, West Park Row in Clinton. The dessert booth is now open for dinner on Friday nights. Enjoy vegetarian seafood or the popular tapas, something for every taste and budget, at the dessert booth in Clinton. Visit the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West for an ever-changing selection of antiques and collectibles from over a dozen antique dealers. Upstairs at the shops, find over 30 more vendors like Gaia's Garden for altered clothing and paper products by some extremely creative women. And We Wear Vintage, vintage clothing and accessories for those who like to dress up. There's also Jake's Bakes, handmade wheat-free treats for your dog. Visit the Little Falls Antique Center and the Shops at 25 West on your next visit to beautiful Canal Place in Little Falls. Spring color is peeking through at the Village Crossing. It's a great time for sales on winter clearance items, making way for new spring fashions arriving daily at the Village Crossing in Clinton. We travel to Cooperstown and about 6 miles south on County Road 33 to Brewery Omegang. This microbrewery was based on traditional Belgian farmhouse architecture. Built in 1997, today the brewery produces 5 award-winning Belgian-style ales.
Well, the original farmstead here was a part of the original hop growing area. This whole area used to provide most of the hops to the United States back in the 1800s, and so this is a traditional hop growing area, and it's just been a beautiful place to set up a brewery. Well, we've invested approximately $11 million in the company over the last 3 years. We've pretty much doubled the volume of the brewery. We've doubled the number of employees that we have from 42 up to 82 now. As we grow the company, craft brewing in America is having a huge resurgence, and we're just in a great place at the right time. So as the company grows, the brewery here at Cooperstown will become bigger and bigger and more important to us for the whole company.
Well, this year we're probably going to sell about 35,000 hectoliters. Generally, our beer brewing process is just taking different barley malts and other grains, getting the extract out of them, boiling that extract with hops and a lot of cases, since our beers are Belgian style, spices, cooling that mixture, adding yeast, fermenting, cold conditioning, clarification, then packaging. It's generally similar to all types of beer, but there are certain things that make our Belgian-style beers unique, such as the spices and yeast strains and things like that.
Not only is the beer Belgian and the food served at the cafe Belgian, but even Santa Claus is Belgian at Brewery Ommegang. But around here, he's known as Saint Niklaus.
St. Nicholas was the Bishop of Myra in an area sort of, actually it was Greece at the time, but it's southern Turkey now. And he was a man who did very kind things. There were 3 daughters who had no dowries, and he tossed money through the window. He was from a well-to-do family. He came to be known for his good deeds. Now, the Dutch who settled America said Saint Niklaus. And we come from Saint Nicholas to Saint Niklaus, Santa Claus, Santa Claus. And so eventually we have Santa Claus.
Brewery Ommegang is open every day from noon to 5 except Christmas and New Year's, and there are free tours at noon and 4:45 each day. The cafe is open until 7 Thursdays through Saturday. It is located about 6 miles south of Cooperstown on County Road 33. This week we head to the city of Utica. Utica was first settled by Europeans on the site of Fort Schuyler in 1773. The fort was located next to the shallowest spot along the Mohawk, where early Native Americans forded the river. This area, where they traded with early pioneers, is now the site of a modern marvel, the Utica Memorial Auditorium. It is now home to some other pioneers, the Utica College hockey team, as well as many other local teams and events. It has a capacity to hold 5,700 people, more than half of the population of Utica when it became a city in 1832.
The Odd was built as final construction, and they go 1960 with it. The big thing about the building was one of the first of its type around, so it got all kinds of shows passing through New York State and was centrally located. We just received an engineering award for its construction. It's the first suspended ceiling building of its type in this country, one of the first 3 in the world. What makes it unique and why we received the award is we're a double-spoke cabled bicycle ceiling. That gives us a dome effect. Madison Square Garden was the second one. They have a single-spoked hub bicycle ceiling. Well, I'll tell you what, 2 of the most memorable concerts we had were last year. We had Further, which is the last 2 members of the Grateful Dead, Phil Lesh and Bob Weir, that were here. They sold out, tremendous concert. And we had Fish here. And again, it was a sellout concert, naturally. We were the only house in New York State they played, and the smallest house on the tour with 5,500 seats. The next smallest house on that tour was 10,000, and they played there 3 days in a row. While they were here, though, they did cut a 2-disc DVD that's available online. So it says Live in Utica, the Fish. So there's a lot of history here. Elvis was supposed to be here 2 days after he died, so there's still tickets around Utica for that concert. I haven't got any concerts on the books yet, but we've got monster trucks coming up. We've got the Jordan Circus. We've got the Wine and Chocolate Festival. We've got the leather stocking gymnastics competition coming up next month, as well as the Globetrotters this month. So we're booked up again.
I have some very fond memories of the Odd. I can remember when it opened, and I can remember what the first show here was. I believe it was the Ice Capades, and I came to see it. Now it's the home to hockey teams. It's the home ice for Utica College. It's busy all the time. There was a question way back then, I was only, 19 years old, as to whether it would succeed. It has, and it's really a very integral part of Utica.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner Auto. Check out this 2010 Dodge Journey SXT. Only 29,000 miles and factory certified 100,000 mile warranty. Only $15,995. Stop into Skinner Auto to check out what's hot on the lot. Discover affordable original works of art by dozens of talented local artists at the Artisan's Corner. Find handcrafted tinware, custom lampshades, pottery, jewelry, candles, soaps, and more. All local and all at the Artisan's Corner in Clinton. Shop Shelter for handmade Adirondack furniture designed by craftsman Jim Kiefer. He works with you to create custom pieces to your specifications, from dining room and coffee tables to bookcases, beds, and bunks. Call or visit Shelter on Main Street in Old Forge. Enjoy a delicious pot of fine flavored varietal and herbal teas at the Tea Bar at Trenton Teas, or arrange an afternoon tea in the tea room. Visit TrentonTeas.com to learn about upcoming events or to arrange your own event at Trenton Teas on Elizabeth Street in Utica. The Longaretta Law Firm, protecting your rights and advising you in matters of legal importance. Call for your free consultation, 735-6162. Make any day a special day and a special day even better with fresh baked pastries and cookies from Cafe Caruso on Bleecker Street in East Utica. Stop in or call ahead for special orders. Expecting company? Just call Deansboro Superette. They prepare delicious Middle Eastern platters for any number of guests. Call 841-4377. If you're a nature lover looking for some elbow room, check out this beautiful Tug Hill property north of Camden. Over 200 acres of fields, woods, snowmobile trails, ponds, and streams, and even a 2,200-foot airstrip for visiting pilots. Call 525-5578. Savor the flavor of authentic Southeast Asian cuisine at the Lotus Garden Noodle and Sushi House. The Pooh family welcomes you to lunch or dinner at the Lotus Garden, 339 Bleecker Street in downtown Utica. If you're in a collision, you need precision. Call your insurance company first and then choose Precision Unlimited, providing expert auto body collision repair since 1987 on Route 5 in Clinton. We head to Rome to CRC Raceway and Hobby. What kid doesn't remember their first radio-controlled car? But these aren't kids, and they're not your average RCs. This is some serious racing, and these cars are serious machines that need regular maintenance and tune-ups just like full-size race cars.
CRC is a company I launched in 1993. I was involved in the model car hobby. I was lucky enough to be one of the better racers, and I was make my own little things, and sooner or later people wanted me to make them for them. And one thing led to another, and I was making more and more things, and Calandra Racing started, which is the company that makes parts worldwide, and then CRC Raceway spun off of that years later. Yeah, it started out with bits and pieces, and then later I actually made a whole car, and after that we started, people wanted it, and we put it in a box and made a kit and sold it, you know, on the internet and to dealers like my CRC Raceway all over the world. In this scale of carpet cars, indoor cars, we're one of the biggest manufacturers in the world. We sell cars to Japan, China, Europe, all over. We race them all over. I've raced in Sweden and Asia and Europe. And this summer I go to Holland for the World Championships of the small 1/12 scale car that we make. Much like NASCAR, we have drivers that race for us. Hendrick has a crew, and Calandra Racing has a bunch of drivers that race for us. And if they win on Sunday, we hope to sell cars on Monday. So that's pretty much how the racing deal works.
CRC Raceway and Hobby is open Tuesday through Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 to 4. It's open today for a race at 1:30. The doors open at 11. And be sure to visit this spring for the races on the CRC Raceway's outdoor track.